Hi guys, and welcome to day 28. I'm going to sound like Dom Famularo here for a minute, but this is huge. Okay, I'm so excited. Yesterday, if you saw the video that I did yesterday, I talked about one of my students who was going in for an audition for her high school jazz band, and she not only got the gig, but she got first chair. I'm so proud of her. Mandy, you did great work. I told you you were going to do good. I'm so excited for her. So that got me to thinking, because she got the gig, it got me to thinking about today's video, what I'm going to talk to you guys about right now. One of the most incredibly interesting people I've ever known in my life is my dentist. How did I go from auditions, jazz band, to dentist? What happened? My dentist is an amazing guy, okay? Back when he was a younger kid, he used to play drums, so he and I share this kinship. And so every time I go in to you know, get some work done, dental cleaning, whatever, he always calls me into his office. And he's like, Bart, look, I got some pictures I want to show you. So one time he shows me this picture of him in Aspen, and he's skiing. And he's out there skiing with Kevin Costner. I was like, oh, wow, cool. You're friends with Kevin Costner. That's great. Well, next time I go in, he's, Bart, come here, I got these pictures. You got to see them. You're going to love this one. So it's a picture of him sitting, just like I am right now, in front of a drum set, with the drum set facing away from him. The only difference was this particular drum set was being played by Tommy Lee, and there was an arena full of people that way, okay? And somebody had taken a picture of him sitting on Tommy Lee's drum riser, just like this, you know, giving the horns, right? Like, wow, that's cool. Well, then the next time I go in, he goes, Bart, come here, I got to show you this video. Okay, let's see it, Doc. He shows me this video, and it's out the window of an airplane, and it's just blue sky. What is it? And there's a little dot out there. What is that? And all of a sudden, the camera kind of turns, and he's filming, and he films himself. He goes back to the window. I go, Doc, what is it? I can't tell. He goes, that's Burt Rutan. He goes, I was in the chase plane that chased Burt Rutan when he won the race into space for Virgin Atlantic Airways. I'm like, you're kidding me. And he goes, no, man. He goes, you know, it was so cool. And so I finally asked him, I go, look, Doc, you're always showing me these pictures of you hanging out with movie stars or rock stars or in a chase plane chasing Burt Rutan. How do you do this? How do you have this life? And he says to me, he goes, it's easy. He goes, I just don't say no. I said, what? He goes, yeah, I just don't say no to anything. He goes, you know, there's times when somebody will call me up and say, hey, you want to go to dinner or something. I can't go because I have an appointment or whatever. But he goes, I just don't say no to things. I just go. Somebody calls me up and you know, asks me if I want to go to dinner or I want to go skiing. I always say yeah. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. That's so cool. He goes, because of that, I have this incredible life. Now, I know it's really easy to look at somebody that's a dentist, right? He has a very successful business. He's in Newport Beach. So it's easy to go, man, the guy makes a ton of money, right? But no, the money's one part of it, but he has an incredible life because he's really open-minded to things. Now, I'm a firm believer that a lot of times as musicians, we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot because we say no a lot of times, right? And I think sometimes when we say no, and this is just me talking, but I think a lot of times when we say no to something, it's because of our own fear and our fear of maybe, you know, failure and not succeeding at something. Tell me if something like this sounds familiar. Maybe if you found yourself in this scenario. Let's say, you know, that you have an audition for a band, or let's pretend for a minute you had an audition for a named artist, okay? And you start thinking to yourself, well, gosh, okay, I've got to go play, but I'm going to be auditioning for, you know, this famous artist. And like some of the best players in town are going to be there auditioning. Matter of fact, a couple of them are my friends. These guys are great players, you know. They might be better than me. And, you know, I don't know, man. What if I go out there and I go and I don't make it? And, you know, I never really liked that artist's music anyhow. And, you know, if I did that, I'd be playing covers. And I don't really want to play covers. I want to do my own thing. I want to do my originals and forget it. I'm not going to do it. We talk ourselves out of it, right? And then guess what happens? Nothing happens at all, right? Maybe you're in your band, you're doing your thing, and you're writing some songs, but I think we talk ourselves out of it. When if we would have said yes and gone on the audition, the worst thing would have happened is, well, we didn't get the gig, but we learned from that. Okay. I said this in my video on auditions. It's in this business. It's a statistic that you go on 20 auditions, you get one gig. Go on the audition. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. The only thing that holds you back sometimes is your own fear. Here's something that has happened in my own life, okay? I've talked in past videos, and I preach from the highest mountains that I've played for the Sam Morrison Band for 16 years. In that band, we have 3 shows that we do. We have our original music. We have 5 to probably 7 hours, realistically, of Southern rock and classic rock's greatest hits. And then we have a show that we do called Turn the Page. It's called that. It's a it's a tribute to the music of Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. And we've had some really good success with that show. Sam came up with the idea a number of years ago to do that show, and if we would have said no to that, a lot of stuff wouldn't have happened. Here's what I'm talking about. In 2007, we were signed to Titan Tribute Media with legendary record producer Michael Vale Blum. Michael's worked with Madonna, Pink Floyd, Suicidal Tendencies, Michael Jackson. He has drummers. I'm a drummer. He's worked with Greg Bissonette. He's worked with Vinnie Colaiuta. He has worked with Jim Keltner. He's worked with the best in the business, right? So I've gotten to record 7 records with that guy, 7 Bob Seger records, and then 2 original records, and then a whole bunch of re-records and one-offs, right? All kinds of one-offs. Stuff that's ended up in movies, in television, in commercials, in jingles. We've sold 750,000 downloads and been streamed over 5 million times. Because of that show, I have personally built a drum clinic that I do for all of my endorsers, for Gretsch, for Sabian, Vic Firth, Aquarian, Dawes Pads, Kickport, the Trick Drums, the Kelly Shoe. I sound like a commercial right now. I probably am. It doesn't matter. I've built this clinic around that show. It's been really successful for me. Now, if we would have said no, you know what, Sam, we don't want to do that. You know what would have happened? Nothing. Nothing at all. We probably kept on going our way, doing our own thing. We'd probably still be together, probably still doing some gigs, but we wouldn't have traveled all over the place, playing these big casinos, playing these nice rooms, getting to stay in all these great places because of that show. Next year, we're going to Germany. This will be my 2nd time to Europe with the band. I've been to Korea one time. So we're going to Germany next year. We've stayed in some, and don't get me wrong, we've played some bad shows and stayed in some bad places, but we've played some really nice shows with nice rooms and been treated like kings because of that show, right? So if we would have said no, not only would I have not gotten to record those records, we wouldn't have got to do those things, I wouldn't have had my clinic together. But the most important thing to me, okay, and this is just, again, me personally, the most important thing, at the end of the day, I'm a better player for it. Right? I'm in the music business for myself because I felt a calling many years ago after seeing Ronnie Tutt play drums for Elvis Presley, where I was just blown away. It's like, that is what I have to do with my life. And if we would have said no to that show, if we wouldn't have done that show, none of this stuff would have happened. And I tell you, talk about fear. The first few times recording with Michael is very intimidating. He's very hard on drummers, but again, it's made me a better player. Talk about fear. Doing drum clinics, okay? I'm playing drums in a room full of drummers. That can be like jumping into a shark tank with an open wound, you know. It's scary, you know, but I didn't let my fear hold me back. 30 years ago, it's hard for me to believe this, but 30 years ago almost, I moved to Southern California. I got a call to do an audition with a friend of mine. I flew out here, did the audition, got the gig. If I would have said no and didn't fly out here and do the audition, probably none of this would have happened, right? But I flew out here from Colorado, got the gig, went back home. I packed up my Datsun station wagon with everything that I owned, and I drove across the desert to California, right? And this car was a piece of junk, and I drove through Utah, Nevada, and I made it out here. I won't even go to the grocery store without my cell phone nowadays, okay? Talk about fear. I don't know if I was just young or dumb or what, but I did it. So, again, and I was scared, but sometimes, again, I'm giving you these examples not to sit here and boast and go, look what I've done. Not at all. I'm trying to be motivational to young players out there. You can do anything that you want, anytime that you want. Every day that you wake up, sit down at your instrument, practice, get better. When you first start practicing, it's not supposed to sound good. It's supposed to sound really bad, but you practice enough till it gets better. Don't say no. If you say yes to things and you put yourself under pressure and you push and you push and you push, you will get better. And again, that's what this whole thing is about. At the end of the day, you want to be a better player. Every day, try to be the best you that you can be, and don't say no. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow.